And I also wanted to explore a father who had lost his because my grandmother, she left my grandfather, and he the night that she left him, and this is actually in the production. The night she left him, he came home. He went and got a revolver, and he said, "If you leave, I'm going to blow your brains out." Because she was packing her bags, and she looked him in the eye, and she said, "Go ahead." She said, "Because one way or the other, I'm leaving tonight." And he lost his nerve, and she walked out because she got tired of it. But what happens if you're a man who comes from the baby boom era, who comes from the era where a man is a man and he doesn't need nothing else because he's a man, and you end up going to therapy, and then you end up changing your ways, but then you realize you lost the love of your life, the woman who was perfect for you, and you go to get her back, but now she's happy and she laughs in your face. So now his days he's been in relationships, but it's never been that good because he lost, and now there is no forgiveness. There is no I'm sorry. There is no second chance. You've lost her for life. And now he has to live with that. And now his son comes to him and he chastises his son. And his son says, "How dare you? Because you taught me to be like this." It's something that I hadn't, and also because I've never seen before. I also write things that they may be on topics we've seen before, but I don't believe the approach or the story we've seen before. Because to me, then why do it? Like I don't want to do something to just do something that we've seen before. I want there to be something that people can talk about or point to that hopefully will enrich their life or give them something to think about to hopefully open their mind. And that's why I do what I do.
That's powerful. I was saying before that I just watched few clip of your film. I can already see the power in it. They are really powerful,
Mhm.
and the way you lay out also the argument, it's a testament to that. Thank you
Well,
for doing what you're doing.
no, I appreciate it. Well, when it comes to unbrotherly love was very different because my older brother, who I think who is in society, I'm very, very proud of him. As a sibling, not so much. My older brother treated me terribly when we were growing, and this film was basically about having that conversation that he wouldn't have with me because I was talking to my now ex-wife, and I was just talking, why did he do that? And I said, hold on, why am I talking to you? I need to ask him. I need to talk to him. And for 5 years, he wouldn't have the conversation with me. So I wrote the film for me to have the conversation. But then I woke up after someone lost their daughter. What if this conversation came at a point where you just lost a child and you need this closure? But it came because see, in life, things don't always happen when you want it. And so then it became less about my issues with my brother, more than about the story, which is what you want it to be. You want it to be less about you want it to be about the story. And that's how that film came about and the way it came out, and I'm really happy about it because someone watched the film and they told me that they hadn't talked to their sister in years, but the film inspired them to have a conversation with their sister. And after that happened, I was like, okay, this was the reason I need to do the film. It wasn't about me. It was about people who've been, because if you have a brother or sister that you haven't talked to and you can salvage a relationship, I say salvage it. I would love to have a great relationship with my older brother and with my nephew, but I'm not going to continue to allow them to treat me the way they do. And I'm just not going to do that. But but if people have brothers and sisters, I say stay close. I say love each other. I say come together instead of being apart, if it's possible.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And that is really powerful. I believe as a storyteller, when you see that the story that you are telling is making an impact, it's having an impact in people, I believe that that is a good satisfaction for you.
Well, another thing for me is that I know pain very well. I mean, the pain that I have felt, the loneliness, the harshness, the how mean people have been to me. I could use it in a couple of ways. I could lash out at the world. I could be mean to other people, or I could put this pen to paper and I can go to work. And that's what I choose to do. I choose to show you the horrors that I've seen, and I want you to hold it up to you and say, "Hey, do you want to be like this? Do you want some of this? Do you want to be treated like this?" Well, if not, there is another way. If, for example, it's just like a lot of times when people have done you wrong, they want to run from it. They want to act like it never happened before. But see, because a lot of times nobody wants to eat humble pie. But what they don't realize is to deal with to deal with your mess, there's another door there. They're the door to freedom, because if I sit here and if I wronged you and I came back and apologized to you sincerely and I want to make a change, you can talk down to me, you can reject me, you can curse me, you can do whatever you want to do. But what you can't say is that I didn't come back to you to make amends. And if I never do anything else like that to you, you cannot sit here and keep on holding that against me. I mean, yes, you can be upset. Yes, you cannot like me. You can still talk about me. But I came to you and I apologized. And I've basically given myself, I've shed the dishonor or the grief or the humility from myself to now walk on. But a lot of people, they'll do the deed, but they don't want to deal with the deed. And to me, you can't have it both ways. But and I'm not saying high, I'm not high and righteous, because there's people that I've done wrong, and not a lot of them, and I went back and told them, I apologized to them. And did it feel good? No. The humble pie don't taste good. But at the same time, it's what I believe in, and I can't say I'm gonna be about this and not do that myself. And it was tough, but I apologized to them. I have not repeated the same behavior to them. Have not done anything else to them, to resemble that other behavior. So if they want to come back and tell me how terrible it was, I'm here to listen. But I have forgiven myself as I've asked them to forgive me.
All right. I want to go back again to what I've made mention of before in your story,
Okay.
of this conversation. When the relationship is broken, we need to fix it. And we usually start fixing it by talking about what has happened. So I want you to tell me a little bit, what is the importance of this in our relationship as human beings? Because we are not perfect. We must be humble enough to admit that we are not perfect.
Mhm.
So tell me about this process of healing. Why is it important?
I think it's important because not dealing with it can cause you a lot of harm. For example, I was someone who was called ugly from third grade up until my sophomore year in high school, and that had a tremendous effect on me. I mean, yes, my mother and grandmother would say, "No, you're a cute little boy. You look good." Listen, I got my mom and I got my grandma and I got 50 girls over here saying something else. So it's really hard to listen to mom and grandma in that situation. And that trauma there has caused the way that I dealt with relationships for a long time was totally different. But also the reason why healing is important, because to deal with it is to be alert to how it's driving you, how it's triggering you, right? Because for you to be hurt, because when you're hurt, when you're emotionally, and that's a decision that, and so, but going through healing, which means that you're dealing with it. First of all, you're aware of it, and then you're taking steps to fix it, so that when you go out here, you don't damage anyone, or you don't set yourself up to get damaged again. And I think that's why it's important.
Hmm. Thank you for that.
Mhm,
All right, now you're a storyteller. You're an artist
mhm,
who use the power of storytelling not just to entertain people, but also to do the work of healing.
mhm.
I think this is what is actually one of the most fascinating thing about storytelling. I don't know if you want to tell me about like how do you use this power because you are powerful
Mhm,
for you to be able to stand on the position of making people feel something. I remember I was interviewing a visual artist in Canada who have worked in many important films. So I was asking him if you can make somebody cry, you can just make somebody laugh, and the person you are making to cry or making to laugh know that it is know that it is not true what you are saying, but yet they cry and they laugh because that is a magic that we do in the storytelling. No, in that. Okay, now let me tell you a little thing. I've written a book. One time I was presenting it at the university here in Verona,
mhm,
the city where I live. So at the point, a student was looking at me, was like asking, "What is going to happen to the character now?" And then, okay, I've explained it before. Then I re-explained again. At the point, I told her, "Listen, this character actually I invented it. It's not real.
mhm,
It's not a real human being. It didn't really happen. I
mhm,
invented this story."
mhm,
Um, when I said that, then I sort of demystify the story to the person, and the person didn't feel that much connection anymore. So what I'm saying is that even though we know that the film we are going to watch in the cinema is not real, that it was makeup, it can make us cry, it can make us laugh.
mhm.
What does that make you feel as in the position of able to do this I don't know what you want to call it, this display or playing on people's emotion, if you want to put it like that. How does that make you?
Well, I mean, it makes you feel like you did your job because you said it best. I mean, people go into it knowing that probably isn't real or this was made up, but to have them feel for a character, for to have them invested, because you're competing against a cell phone all the time. People glancing at their phone or getting a text or being distracted. So number one, to hold their attention, is a win. But then also to get them to feel, to actually buy into the story, to the fact that they enjoy it, they get something from it, or they're emotionally involved in it. It's a tremendous feeling. And that's what you live for. That's what you pray for. That's what you hope for. Because there is no guarantees, because there are times where you can have the best intentions and it just doesn't work. So to go out there and actually do the job that you're setting for, it's a tremendous feeling, and nothing is better than, and specifically for these films, because they're not you're not going in here coming out here probably laughing and smiling watching these films, so that they could be tough depending on, but the great Denzel Washington said it best. He said, "What do you want people to take from your films?" He said, "Depends on what they bring to it." And I didn't understand what that meant for years, but I kind of understand what it means now. But at the same time, to get people to feel something, to enjoy the film, or to take an opinion away from it, is a tremendous film because that's what you're working hard for.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
All right. Now, how can people connect with you? Those who want to learn more about what you do,
Mhm.
probably they are listening to you now. Please share with them how they can connect with you.
They can connect with me on my website. Is ronalddillardjr.com. Of course, I'm Ronald Dillard Jr. on all platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on um, I think I covered them all. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I am Ronald Dillard Jr. So if you type in Ronald Dillard Jr., you'll be able to see me or my productions, or you can DM me. You can send me. You can tweet at me. Any of those. You can connect with me on any of those platforms. And of course, on my website, you can basically send a message and come directly to me. And I pride myself in responding back.
All right. Thank you so much for that, dear Ronan. Now, what would be your final thought here, your final statement here, considering what we have discussed today? Or if it can even be that is something you wanted to say, I did not ask you because it's not possible for me to ask
Hmm.
you everything.
Hmm.
So please go ahead and do that.
Well, a couple of things. My final thoughts are the following. I really believe in treating people as you want to be treated. Do unto others as you have them to do to unto you. And the way I live my life is I'm looking to get it right. If I believe that I'm right, I'm defending it to the death. If I found that I'm wrong, I'm coming back and I'm apologizing. I want us to really think about things outside of ourselves. I want us to think about others, whether they look like you or look like somebody else. People are people, and let's treat them as such. Love each other. I'm all about togetherness, but at the same time, I'm also always about, making sure there are consequences for actions that just don't make any sense and that just should not be tolerated. I'm hoping that people enjoy these films. I would love to hear your thoughts about them. I'm thankful that they're going to be seeing them in a different light, in a different way. And for myself, I just appreciate the fact that I've been able to do films that I was fascinated by, that I wanted to write, and I was able to do them independently and do them myself. And I'm just hoping that in the next 5 to 10 years, these television shows I created, that you'll be able to see them. And that would be a journey that I've been waiting all my life to take on. So that's what I would say.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. I
Sure.
appreciate it, time.
Thank you so much for having me.